Hello, I'm Craig Brailsford, and welcome to another episode of Small Stocks, Big Money. For those of you new to the show, RedChip is an investor relations, media, and research firm focused on emerging growth companies. Our unique platform combines global multimedia with traditional investor relations, reaching investors around the world. Now, today's show features interviews with the executives of two public companies. First up is GreenPower Motor Company. GreenPower Motor Company is advancing the adoption of electric vehicles by making all electric buses and trucks affordable, durable, and easy to deploy. GreenPower offers commercial vehicles for the movement of goods and people that are built from the ground up to be all electric and are never converted. This clean sheet design ensures a safe, sustainable, and sensible form of transportation, allowing for optimal placement of the battery and propulsion systems, increasing the overall vehicle strength and significantly enhancing the battery weight distribution compared to other EVs. With more than 700 GreenPower all-electric, purpose-built, zero-emission EV stars delivered, a substantial order pipeline, and key partnerships across various sectors, GreenPower is poised for continued growth and market expansion. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Up next is Nova Minerals. Nova Minerals is a gold, antimony, and critical minerals exploration and development company focused on advancing the Estelle project, composing 199 square miles of state of Alaska mining claims, which contains multiple mining complexes across a 22-mile-long mineralized corridor of more than 20 advanced gold and antimony prospects, including two already defined multi-million-ounce resources, plus several drill-ready antimony prospects with massive outcropping stibnite vein systems observed at the surface. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Before we dive into our first interview, let's take a moment to recognize some of RedChip's top performers in 2024. Among them, RCAT, up an incredible 1,293% in 2024. Alliance Entertainment, soaring by 842%. Gorilla Technology, which gained 250%. And Nova Minerals, up 149%. These companies have demonstrated the immense potential of the small cap market. Looking ahead to 2025, RedChip has also unveiled its top 25 small cap stocks to watch. This curated list includes names such as Venue Holding, VENU on the New York Stock Exchange American, Trinity Biotech, TRIB on the NASDAQ, and Nutraband, also on the NASDAQ, trading under the ticker NTRB. To learn more about why these and other exciting small cap stocks made it onto our 2025 list, visit redchip.com and download the full report. Now let's move on to our quote of the week. It comes from the book Small Stocks, Big Money. Work hard, be a long-term thinker, develop tenacity, and remember, nothing happens without taking calculated risks. This quote comes from Phil Sassower of Phoenix Group, and it is featured in Chapter 9 of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book of exclusive interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now, let's get started with our first interview today with GreenPower Motor Company. Hello there. Today we have Fraser Atkinson, CEO of GreenPower Motor Company, trading on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol GP. Fraser, thanks for being with us again today.
Thanks for having us on the show.
Fraser, tell us about GreenPower Motor Company's products and business model.
So GreenPower Motor Company is focused in two areas, in the all-electric school bus space and more of a horizontal medium-duty Class 4 vehicle space. In the case of the school buses, we design, manufacture, and distribute a smaller Class 4 Type A school bus, which we call the Nano Beast, and a larger Type D school bus, which we call the Beast. And this gives us a unique market opportunity where we are the only EV OEM that has both the smaller and the larger school bus products. In the case of the Class 4 space, this is driven by our own cabin chassis, and in many of the sectors that we compete on, whether it's on the commercial or passenger vehicle or just the sale of the cabin chassis, is that we are the only one that have our own cabin chassis, where our competitors are buying and using someone else's, and in most cases, someone else's that was built for an internal combustion engine.
Fraser, we know that there are many incentives out there being offered by governments at various levels. How does GreenPower plan to leverage them to expand its market presence and drive revenue growth?
So first off, it's important to understand, in particular with the school bus space, what's driving the incentives that various levels of government are offering. And that's as a result of advocacy groups that have been pushing all levels of government to get rid of these older diesel-emitting school buses. And what research has found is that the NOx emissions and particulate matters that are emitted by these older diesel-emitting school buses are very harmful to school kids, and in particular the younger school kids with their development of their lungs. So there's a push to replace these with all-electric school buses like GreenPower offers with our smaller and larger Type A, Type D school buses. So this, with this in mind, the government incentives that we are focusing on are at the state levels, which are aligned with the state mandates to electrify school buses over the next 8 to 9 years. In the case of New York, we're dealing with a market opportunity of 50,000 school buses that will need to be replaced with all electric school buses, and California is 30,000 school buses.
GreenPower, currently a large backlog of orders, Fraser. How do you plan to increase production efficiency to handle that backlog?
So there's a number of things that we had to put in place over the last year or two. One, we have a dedicated facility in West Virginia for school bus production. The initial production was fairly small numbers. So as we increase the throughput and as we increase the production capacity, that is going to drive our costs down and increase the gross profit on the vehicles that go through that facility. The second thing is that we required a different funding model where we needed production financing as opposed to traditional funding in order to produce pursuant to customer orders, which is, as you put it, with our order backlog, has become our focus as opposed to necessarily worrying about the extent of the market opportunities that we've already crystallized with live orders.
ZEV credits, Fraser, tell us what they are and tell us more about your recent hiring of a consultant to monetize your ZEV credits.
So there's a number of different credits that give rise to market opportunities. And if I reference another company that has been very, very successful in trading their credits, they reference them or refer to them as tradable credits, is Tesla. And Tesla, in their most recent quarter, realized over $700 million of sales of tradable credits. And this relates to, as a manufacturer, you're given a credits for manufacturing all electric vehicles, which you can trade with companies or manufacturers that are producing traditional internal combustion engine vehicles and require ZEV credits to offset that production level in order to meet various state requirements. So with that in mind, we hired a broker who is a very seasoned veteran in this space that is out prospecting manufacturers that require these credits, in other words, that are buyers. And we are currently engaged with a number of manufacturers. If we are able to crystallize a transaction, we expect that would be somewhere in the March to April timeframe of this year for our first transaction in terms of selling credits.
Let's look ahead to the next quarter or two. What are your key plans?
So we've been transitioning from where our business model in the past was build to inventory, sell out of inventory to end customers, to where our production is pursuant to customer orders. We have a very sizable order book in terms of live orders, and even a larger sales pipeline behind that in the school bus space. So our focus over the next quarter or two is to further increase our production capacity for our school buses, and to really start to increase the delivery level of school buses to our end customers.
Fraser, here's your opportunity to speak directly to the investor. Why should he take a look at your company right now?
Well, number one, we are one of the very few companies, in fact, other than Tesla and a couple of others, that generate gross profit on the sales of our vehicles every quarter. This is something that we've been doing historically, so it's not something new, and we've developed a business model where that's an important part of ultimately hitting profitable operations. Number two is that with our order backlog, getting to 50 to 60 school buses gets us to a break-even positive cash flow. And certainly our order backlog is now positioning us to be able to accomplish that over the course of the next year or so. So we believe we're in a unique position compared to our competitors, in addition to the unique attributes of our product set that I previously talked about on the show.
It's a great story, Fraser. We love to hear it. Thank you for your update on GreenPower.
Thanks for having us on.
Now, to get more information on GreenPower Motor Company, visit greenpowermotorinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like GreenPower Motor Company. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small-cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can also order your copy of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book written by RedChip's CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Order your copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now let's move on to our next interview today with Nova Minerals. Hello, today we have Christopher Gertyson, Executive Director and CEO of Nova Minerals Limited, trading on the NASDAQ under the ticker NVA. Christopher, welcome back.
Great to be with you again, Craig.
Nova Minerals has a broad portfolio, Chris, with a focus, of course, on gold and antimony exploration. Start, please, with a brief overview of your current development work.
Large project, 200 square miles of claims here in the state of Alaska, on state of Alaska land. We have 2 gold deposits where we've defined globally almost 10 million ounces to date. And in addition to that, 20 other known prospects where we've made discoveries of not only gold, but as you said, antimony and many of the other critical elements that are so highly sought after these days. And we're advancing that pipeline of projects to bring first cab off the rank, of course, is the gold and the antimony, but we know that there's other elements in there like gallium, indium, tungsten, but we're still further exploring for those. But gold and antimony for sure, large claim block will be out here for decades and decades with multiple mining centers at the end of the day.
Chris, antimony much in the news these days. Let's turn to that for a moment. Your latest exploration season revealed exceptionally high-grade antimony at that Stibium prospect. Now, go more deeply into what this means for your resource development strategy and how does it elevate your market position?
Well, you mentioned Stibium. And we're a gold company. We were exploring for gold out there. We found gold. We find gold, but you might say the antimony found us. What we see on the surface, not only at Stibium, but also at numerous prospects. Another one to mention there is Styx. The Styx prospect, we see massive stibnite veining on the surface and very easy visually identified it. And this, of course, with the antimony crunch in the market, China cutting off the United States, no U.S. production, that this has drawn a lot of interest, particularly from the U.S. government. The Department of Defense that needs to bring, their mission is to bring and reestablish U.S. production and bring that supply chain back to the U.S. They see us playing a major role in that. And with this antimony market the way it is at record high prices, it's a very lucrative opportunity for Nova Minerals, and we're really a first mover in this space here in the United States. And that's the opportunity for the investor.
As you mentioned, antimony, super important also in light of that export ban by China, U.S., and of course EU too much reliant on imports of antimony. Tell us more, Chris, because it's so important, how Nova is leveraging these discoveries, or as you said, antimony finding you, to meet that strategic demand.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the United States is basically almost 100% import reliant, and in many cases on foreign adversaries, right? And so being a first mover in the space and making these significant discoveries and drawing the interest of the Department of Defense. And I should also mention, we're applying and we're currently quite advanced in our submission of applications for Department of Defense grants, part of the DPA Title III grant funding, to do exactly that, bring these supply chains back to the United States. Our mission is to not only mine, but to mine and refine that full supply chain. Mine it, concentrate it, refine it here in Alaska, create a state-of-the-art hub that'll not only feed the DoD, but also the U.S. industrial base over the long term, and bring that production back to the United States. And Nova Minerals is at the center of that effort.
Turning now to the recent sale of your shares in Snow Lake Resources, Chris. This significantly strengthened your balance sheet. How will this increased financial flexibility accelerate your exploration and development efforts?
Indeed. So that Snow Lake sale, we always intended to do that. That was always a liquid asset, and we've tapped into that along the way since the IPO. And so now we currently are debt-free, and we have $10 million in the bank. So that is to fund us this year and beyond for our gold exploration. With our gold, we're in the feasibility study stage currently, so we're advancing that project. We see production on the horizon, cash flow in our sights on the gold side. And then with the DoD grants that we're going for, if that comes to fruition, that'll only further fill our coffers to then go after the antimony as well. So it's really a double header here, right? A double header here. So very cashed up. It's going to be an exciting big season for us as we move rapidly into production and cash flow.
Chris, it's a new year, 2025. Investors are eager for updates. What milestones should they be looking out for this year, especially regarding resource definition at Stibium and exploration at RPM and Stony?
So on the gold side, we are laser focused on RPM, getting that into production. It's a very advanced project. We have resources already defined there. We're working on the feasibility study and to get that out to the market as soon as possible. I mean, that's the first step, big milestone in this business, to then move into the bridge period, a definitive feasibility study, and construction and production. So that's on the gold side, laser focused on RPM. On the antimony side, with this DoD grant, I keep mentioning, we intend to do drilling out there this year, define our resource and our reserves, to then bring that into production as well as soon as 2026. The potential exists for that. At that Stibium prospect, our target there is at least thousands of tons of ounces of antimony at current record prices of $40,000 a ton. Quite a lucrative opportunity for the company, obviously. And so that's the objective. Drilling this year, lots of drilling, and getting these feasibility studies out to get into production here in the medium term.
All right, Chris, let's wrap up now with the essential value proposition. Tell our viewers, why should they take an interest in Nova Minerals right now?
So many reasons. We're in Alaska with all the geopolitical and sovereign risk in the world, being in a favorable jurisdiction on state land, no federal land or native title land here to contend with, much more streamlined permitting process. And then we talked about it over and over, and I'll just reiterate, gold and antimony, both at historical high prices and moving higher rapidly, moving into a bull markets in both of these commodities. We're in the right place at the right time with the right commodities.
It's a great story, Chris. Thanks for the update.
Thanks for having us.
Now, to get more information on Nova Minerals, visit nvainfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like Nova Minerals. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can order Small Stocks, Big Money. This is a book written by RedChip's CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon for $18. Now, let's recap the companies featured today. First, you met GreenPower Motor Company, GP, on the NASDAQ. GreenPower Motor Company is advancing the adoption of electric vehicles by making all electric buses and trucks affordable, durable, and easy to deploy. GreenPower offers commercial vehicles for the movement of goods and people that are built from the ground up to be all electric and are never converted. This clean sheet design ensures a safe, sustainable, and sensible form of transportation, allowing for optimal placement of the battery and propulsion systems, increasing the overall vehicle strength and significantly enhancing the battery weight distribution compared to other EVs. With more than 700 GreenPower all-electric, purpose-built, zero-emission EV Stars delivered, a substantial order pipeline, and key partnerships across various sectors, GreenPower is poised for continued growth and market expansion. Learn more at www.greenpowermotorinfo.com. Then, you met Nova Minerals, NVA, on the NASDAQ. Nova Minerals is a gold, antimony, and critical minerals exploration and development company focused on advancing the Estelle project, composing 199 square miles of state of Alaska mining claims, which contains multiple mining complexes across a 22-mile-long mineralized corridor of more than 20 advanced gold and antimony prospects, including 2 already defined multi-million-ounce resources and several drill-ready antimony prospects with massive outcropping stibnite vein systems observed at the surface. Learn more at www.nvainfo.com. Don't forget to check out our stocks page. It is the biggest small-cap stock portal in the industry. Every company listed on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange with market caps of $2 billion and less. And it's categorized by industries. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small-cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. And be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter and learn about a lot of small-cap companies. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, if you have any questions about any of our public companies featured on today's show, call us at 1-800-RedChip or email us at info@redchip.com. In closing, remember, while small caps can provide significant gains, you must be prepared for the downside. Small cap stocks are among the most volatile of asset classes. Some of the companies featured on this show are RedChip client companies, and we may own stock in these companies, so please always read our disclosures at redchip.com. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next week with some new, exciting emerging growth companies.
U.S. states have mandated and set aside more than $1 billion for the transition to electric school buses. Now, GreenPower, a NASDAQ company, stock symbol GP, is poised to capitalize on this initiative. GreenPower is a recipient of the California Zero Emission Vehicle Program. GreenPower now has orders and qualified leads for more than 300 school buses, valued at more than $100 million. GreenPower on the NASDAQ, stock symbol GP.